spent a week with a few thousand brethren at annual conference in Indiana, and the week was truly lovely. The main theme running through the breakout sessions and the worship was peace. So this was good because we're a historic peace church. And before Lucero gets to share, I wanted to start us off with some words about how the Church of the Brethren became the peace seekers that they are. So many of you know that the Brethren movement began through Bible study and prayer of a small group of 8 people. Alexander Mack is thought to be the leader of the group, but I want to highlight another leader of this movement, Alexander's son, Alexander Jr., but he was called Sander. We have a Sander. Sander, is this your namesake? Okay. And so I wanted to make a link between our peaceful reconciliation trend and the son's tendencies, not the father's. The family of Sander was disillusioned. This was back in what might have now be Germany, was disillusioned by the state's Reformed church, and they participated in these alternative movements called the Pietistic movement, along with the Mennonites and the Quakers. That's why they're called our sisters. The Pietistic movement emphasized personal, heartfelt faith, practical Christian living over rigid theological dogma. The group of 8 and those who followed had some strict rules, only marrying within the community and sharing a strong mutual aid community. This is why the Brethren is so interesting. They really disliked insurance because they said, well, if we can't take care of our own, then we're not doing our job. Do you see? Do you see the thought about that? Like, why would I have a company insure me when my people will insure me? So interesting. The founder had been recorded in having an outburst with his spiritual mentor and also trying to mend the rift that had begun in the group that led half of them to migrate to the colonial America in 1719. So that was the results of his peacemaking, is that half of them left, with the Mack family staying behind. So it seems like reconciliation was not Mack's strong suit. Now, on to Sander. Sander's mother and sister died when he was 8, and he came to this Brethren outpost in the colonies in 1729 with his father, who attempted unsuccessfully to reconcile a fight within the Brethren communities. 6 years after migrating, Mack Sr. passed away, and Sander suffered from deep depression, and he left the Brethren, and even joining for a time the cloister of his father's adversary, Conrad Bissell. He left there soon, and he traveled solo from the Brethren, sometimes even toying with being a religious hermit. He received direction in a dream that he should reconcile with the Brethren, which he did 12 years after leaving. Asking for forgiveness, he was reconciled and restored. He went on to become a great leader whose letters, daybook, devotional, and doctrinal readings and poetry reflect a desire for moderation, acceptance, and love. No greater example of his temperament can be found than his words at the end of an essay, which he defends a particular order of worship for Love Feast, but then reminds his readers that Jesus himself said that we should be known as disciples by our love for each other. His stature was so great among the Brethren that his words could have commanded certain behavior. He could have said, this is the order of worship that I think we ought to follow. However, even though he considers his interpretation the correct one, He emphasizes that he would rather concede to someone he considered wrong if that action would help preserve the love and maintain his correct interpretation of Scripture, if it meant driving a wedge through believers. He was especially concerned that love and unity not be lost. He had a tremendous influence as a moderating reconciler, a caregiver, and an advocate to the poor and the dispossessed. So when we explore peace, we may refer to some doctrinal writings of Alexander Max Sr., but when we breathe life into those writings, the heart and soul of Sander, our broken leader, shows us what counts. Lucero is going to speak to us about her journey to peace. So let's listen to her heart and soul. Lucero?
Good morning. Is this good? Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for the invitation, Julie. To be honest, I'm the most ill-equipped person to speak about peace, but here I am. The talk Julie referenced at the University of Laverne was called What Matters to Me and Why? And I titled that Cultivating Peace. That is a journey. It's not a destination. Learned that the hard way. Because I feel so ill-equipped to give this peace talk to you, all I can do is share what I've learned in my time searching for peace. It's not around the corner, that's for sure. Look there. When you grow up in an environment of uncertainty, of instability, chaos at times, that is your normal. You become an adult in that normal that you thought was, and you are constantly in search for that stability, that peace, that which you did not have. And one of the things I've learned through this journey of healing is the community you surround yourself with is the most important thing to helping you kind of discover who you are and that peace within you. But I learned that peace is not coming to me. It is not going to magically appear in my home. It is something that is cultivated within. As you all know, you don't see me here often. I don't frequent church often. I frequent God daily, and He hears my voice, I'm sure. I've also looked at other religions, and I've looked at other writings about peace and what it means to cultivate it in one's heart and for one's life. And that's where I found the most interesting things about community. It's that we all have a different interpretation of how it is cultivated, and inner peace is the foundation for achieving world peace, really, because if you don't have it to give, how do you create it? That was hard for me to understand. For a long time, I thought, well, if this problem goes away, or if the car's fixed, or schedules settle with the kids because they're so young, then peace will come. And peace was not coming. I was tired and frustrated, and I thought life was peaceful when there was no conflict, and there was still turmoil and frustration within me. And as this journey of mine continues, and even when I gave that talk, life looked very different a year and a half ago than it does now. And it's been beautiful. I truly can't tell you how blessed I am and how much my life has transformed in beautiful ways for myself, my children, my extended family. But I learned that peace is not the absence of noise or conflict. It is about creating a sense of stillness amidst the storm. That's been the interesting journey for me, finding peace and quiet. And because I am a stubborn individual, you can ask my husband, God doesn't talk to me quietly. He smacks me on the head sometimes. So I've been listening to podcasts about meditating and just finding inner peace. And the last podcast I listened to, I turned it on one morning and it's titled Finding Peace in the Silence. So I realized, okay, I'm not listening to something God's telling me, so here we go. Then I started, the podcast offered some suggestions on how to find that peace, and it said, start doing things in silence. If you lived in my brain, you'd be a little worried, and then you'd understand that it's never silent. So cultivating that silence felt uncomfortable, it's awkward, and I've been doing this for about a couple of months now, actually. I've been doing one task at home in silence. For someone that has had chaos in their life for always and has been busy and hectic and active and actively seeking to be busy, silence is a very interesting thing. So I cook, or I'll just sit there in my room quietly meditating. I do one task in complete silence. And it was really uncomfortable the first few days. I ran for the phone, I ran for the music, I ran for the noise. And it's getting easier now, and it's getting easier to do more things in silence. It's very interesting how your body reacts to that silence. And it's just because you're sitting with yourself in peace. And it is a beautiful thing to experience when you know it's leading to something healthier. It's just terrifying when you've never had it. The guilt that came from just sitting quietly was a little overwhelming, and it made me frustrated. Oh, I should be cleaning that corner, or I should be taking care of this other thing, or I should go help this person do whatnot. And it forced me to stop everything. And then I read, again, because God has to scream at me sometimes because I don't listen. I was reading some articles online, and it says, and it told me, guilt becomes another demand placed on an already tired heart. And I realized that it was just my heart talking to me, wanting me to slow down, wanting me to find the silence and the beautifulness in life. Life looks very different. And now that my kids are growing, that is a different chapter in my world, that when your foundation wasn't adequately prepared to navigate the changes in life, you stumble through them at times because the changes happen so quickly, and you weren't invited to welcome change in a healthy way in your life. It was always reactive. And when you find the time to be proactive and mindful of cultivating peace within you, those moments of silence, those moments of time shifting, now I have a bit more free time for myself. How do I fill it? What do I do? All of these questions arise now in a different way. And then going back to my podcast, it quietly tells me many of us are not lacking discipline. We are lacking the space where we are allowed to stop performing efficiency. For me, I had to listen to that a couple of times because the busyness of my life was created specifically because sitting in silence was an uncomfortable feeling. It was not peaceful for me. It was not something I was seeking because I thought peace was around the corner. Peace is over there. Peace is in that person. Peace is in that thing. And it was never peace is within me. I grew up in a very religious household, so God has never been away from my life, but I think I've been away from God. And in creating this new world of peace within me so that I can give to others, I realized how much that silence is louder now, how much I have of it, and I needed it before. Time takes a different seat at the table for me now. I don't worry about having wasted time. It's not wasted time is not useless. Empty time, it's not useless. It's not called wasted time. It's just empty, and it's for us to fill it. When we fill it with something that heals us, grows us, supports us, that translates to peace. That translates to something that you can actually help produce in your life for yourself and others. Without time, we may remain active but not nourished. I truly believe that in my life, I've always been very active and busy caring for others and giving to others and supporting my children, my family, my parents, everyone around me as best I can. And there was so little for me specifically by design, because I did not realize how much time you need to spend with yourself to cultivate peace within. And that's truly been the most uncomfortable part of this growing journey. Still learning, still on that journey, still seeking inner peace in different ways that support my growth now in this stage of life I find myself in. And I was talking to Julie about this talk a bit ago, and I told her everything that's happened in my life, good and bad, I would never change a thing. I'm grateful for every instance, as challenging as some of them may be, because it's brought me to this point where I can recognize that I'm not without the absence of peace and joy in my heart. I'm just reframing what it looks like, restructuring it for myself and how I give it to myself. Because fulfillment is what you do, what you love and value, and how you live. And it's when it all begins speaking to one another that fulfillment happens, and you can align peace and fulfillment in your life. And I think that's been the most powerful message I've received. I'm grateful for the cup of coffee in the morning and the quiet showers now, and those 30 minutes before the house gets noisy, even when the cat comes downstairs to yell at me, even before all of that, I'm grateful for that silence, because it is introducing me to a new journey of peace that I'd never experienced in my life. And I'm so grateful for the community that has shared in that journey, that has introduced me to meditation and worship and other ways of cultivating peace within our hearts. I invite all of you to find moments of silence, to find time just to talk to you and your heart. It is one of the most interesting things you'll do, and you'll be fascinated by what comes out. I'm always reminded of a quote Albert Einstein said: "There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is." I like to live my life as if everything is a miracle, because it feels truly miraculous for me that I find myself here today speaking to you all about a subject I knew nothing about for so long. I truly am blessed to understand that peace comes from within, and the only way to change the world is by changing yourself. And when you don't have that as the foundation, creating it becomes a heavy burden until you learn that it's really just a relationship with yourself and how you change it. And for me, obviously, God, my family, and friends have definitely encouraged that growth and that at times painful journey. But it is definitely in those silent moments that I've learned how much peace in my heart and in my family's lives and in my home I've been able to create. The road has been rocky, but I think in finding that stillness, it has helped me find more moments of gratitude and more opportunities to cultivate peace within my heart. I promise I'm on a long journey and I feel like I'm still on chapter 1, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn alongside you, to grow, and to share a little bit about what peace means in my life and why cultivating peace is so important for my soul and for the world around me, because I'd like to help at least the corner of my world, and then I know I can do it if I continue to cultivate peace within. So I thank you for this morning. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope that you find an activity to do in pure silence. It truly is beautiful. Thank you.
So we're going to do an activity. You can go back to peace there, Sander. This activity, that sense of stillness, although my voice will be talking, but let that disappear into the background. Because some words have been spoken that are good, and they need to land and resonate in our hearts. This meditation comes from a lovely devotional book by Kate Aramas called Sacred Belonging. And I've chosen the meditation of the Sun Woman, an image found in the book in Revelation 12. And of course, in honor of Lucero. Luce is light. She's our light woman. And so our Sun Woman in Revelation 12, this is our meditation. Our woman comes clothed with the sun. The moon rests at her feet. Imagine this. And the crown of 12 stars over her head. She is majestic, woven into the cosmos. She is also pregnant, vulnerable, crying out with the pangs of labor. To her horror and surprise, she is not alone in the celestial dwelling. Verse 3 introduced a fiery red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. His power is so great that his tail sweeps a third of the stars from the sky toward earth. The dragon is waiting for the Sun Woman's gift to the world, ready to devour it. Isn't this just like life? Sander Mack, born into a family that was destroyed by death and war. Lucero, born into a family with its own unique problems, chaos. You and I, born into our own problems. We are the beautiful Sun Woman, full of promise and blessing, stars at our head, moon at our feet, God's beloved. Only to see there's another player in our story. Sometimes great, sometimes small, the evil player is waiting to take our gifts. Close your eyes if you'd like. Think of all the gifts you were born with, all your natural talents, all the gifts that you're pregnant with, yet to deliver to the world. You are beloved. You are chosen. You are special. God has such plans for you. Think of all those gifts and plans and dreams you've held in your inmost heart. How God would love to align with those and use those. But wait, there's another player on the scene. The dragon has 7 heads. Could the evil heads represent the dysfunctional things we carry in ourselves? Could these be anxiety, worry, low self-worth, depression, pain, sloth, or distraction, maybe guilt. Name your dragon of choice. Take a moment and name the dragon that tries to steal your gifts. The dragon looms over us, hoping to gobble up our gifts, extinguish our light, tamp our vitality. But in the Bible, it doesn't happen. The gift is born and taken up to God, and the Sun Woman flees to the desert retreat that has been prepared for her healing, her grieving, her nurturing. She stays there a long, long time, gaining strength and wisdom. Although she's strong and wise, she still has to avoid that dragon because it stalks her, unrelenting. This time, pursued by the evil dragon, she is given wings of the great eagle and can escape. And finally, the dragon is foiled because Earth herself helps the Sun Woman. The earth swallows the evil dragon, stopping its mouth from spewing evil anymore. Have you given yourself a place to heal? Silent time, as Lucero says. A place to grow strong, to be nurtured by God. We need to allow God to help us to grieve, to tend to our wounds, and then give us wings to fly away from the evil that has pursued us. What lovely images. Take a deep breath. And another. And come back. Revelation is hard to decipher, but we can take the grand strokes and apply them to our own life. We are the Sun Woman. We have beautiful gifts that are essential to God's working plan. There is evil. There always is evil working against God's purposes. Perhaps we cannot expect that there will never be evil in our lives. Perhaps we can't think that these dragons are completely our own fault, but something has placed them in our lives. Placed for us to fight against, to flee from, to grieve, and then to heal and be nurtured. In this scene, God supplies the retreat for the Sun Woman. God must want us to heal, to grieve, to be nurtured. God must want us to grow strong and wise to fight another day. Maybe God even has a set of wings for each of us to fly away from the evil once we have faced it and healed from it. To find peace, we need to find out who we are, who the dragon is, fight the good fight, and then retreat to become strong again. This is divine work that readies us for the next fight with our new wings. May it be so. Amen.